Hello everyone, I'm Deacon Eduardo Rivera, and I'm a Basilian. Over the years I've been asked, why are you becoming a priest? Why did you join a religious order? Why did you become a Basilian? All of those questions focus on the topic of vocations. Since yesterday, Sunday, May 3rd, was World Day of Prayer for Vocations, the Basilian Fathers have decided to create a series of videos on vocations, starting with this video, which seeks to answer the basic question that everyone has. How do I discern my vocation? Whether we're discerning what school to go to, what career path to take, or if we are called to the priesthood in religious life, discernment is a type of listening. It's a way of listening to God's call and trying to understand it. God calls all of us to holiness, but our journey to holiness is not always the same, and it's never done alone. We are all called to help each other grow in holiness, but we may reach holiness in different ways. A vocation to the priesthood in religious life is never done alone. We are all called to help each other. We have to remember that just like any kind of vocation, it takes time to figure out if God is really calling us to that way of life. So we have to discern. We have to listen. Discernment is a process rather than one particular moment of inspiration. Whenever someone is telling us a story, we have to listen. We have to pay attention, and then we can respond to what we heard. So when we are discerning a vocation, whether it's to be married, to be single, or a vocation to religious life in the priesthood, we have to first listen to God by praying. Developing a habit of prayer and frequently receiving the sacraments helps us to see and hear God in our daily lives. We are able to find God every day and understand His call for us by wearing the lenses of our faith and praying. So if we listen to God through prayer, then the second step is paying attention and making sense of what we hear. Sometimes we may hear God's call, but not quite understand it. Other people may even see that we have a vocation, but we don't notice it ourselves. In these cases, we need help understanding what we hear. And that's why when we discern, we need to talk to someone so that we can have some help making sense of it all. We can go to a friend or someone we really trust, but I definitely recommend speaking to a priest or religious brother or sister because they have all experienced the process of discerning their own vocations, and they know how to help others as spiritual directors or spiritual coaches. The last thing, the third thing that we must do is respond to God's call. We can hear and understand what God is calling us to, but that all means nothing unless we act on it. Once we listen and begin to understand God's call, then we can take the next step and contact a diocese or religious order. But our discernment does not stop once we join a diocese or religious community. Like I said before, discernment is a process. We have to keep our ears ready to always hear God's call. First, we listen and pray. Then we understand by sharing what we hear so that we can respond to our calling of serving God's people in our diocese and the works of our religious communities. If you have any questions on discerning a call to the priesthood or to religious life, follow the links provided below. May God bless you as you discern your vocation.